Hello, beautiful friends. It's such an honor to be here with you once again. You know, YouTube doesn't allow me to record the songs as well, so I always have to start the recording after, just to not to violate anything. So today is a special day. It always is a special day. Every day is a special day. We are on a path of great transformation. And I put up the picture of the 33 codes because the 33 codes have been doing a great job in this world because of all of you. And that is dissolving the old planetary grid. This is a big story. And today we will do kind of revision. We will take a look at ascension process once again, because it's pretty sci-fi. And many of you that I got to speak to, you know, when we do the one-on-one sessions, I realized, oh my gosh, so like we are all here knowing exactly what to do. And we came on these big missions and so many teams are here supporting this process. Oh my goodness. And so I like storytelling. I like spiritual storytelling. So it's going to be a little bit of a story before we go into meditation. Today, we are going to be connecting with divine will, and the great science fiction unfolds. And so you've heard many of my stories, but I like to kind of put the pieces together and again and again and again, just to make sense of it all. And hopefully that also is helpful to you. So when I came into this world, you know, I was constantly going out of body to another planet, and that planet was actually blown up, and it was kind of like a nuclear explosion. And it was a team of us. I call it a team. It was my friends. So like I knew we came from that world. And so every night we would get together and we were rainbow bodies. And I was wondering why we are so rainbow. And so we would always teleport, leave the body here, and we would go to this other planet and we would just be sad. Great way to spend your night, you know, sitting on a completely lifeless planet and just being sad. We didn't even communicate. We just sat there and we were just super sad. And this happened to me every single night of my childhood, just sitting on this planet. And so I got to really study what happened. And I saw how life was lost because of this explosion, and everything was just melting. And I really hated the feeling of this melting. And it was exactly what happens after a nuclear explosion. And so, you know, as a kid, you don't really question so much. So coming back every day. And then, you know, I went to kindergarten. And in kindergarten, I had these other experiences during the day. And I remember it so well. It was like suddenly the Om sound was sounding. And I mention that often, but it's interesting to think about how powerful the Om sound really is. So I was listening to it as a kid, and I really felt like, whoa, this is really weird. Like, what's happening now? And the sound would sound, and then all the water first would become one with all things. And it's, you know, now it makes sense. Now it all makes sense. Then, you know, I didn't really look for the sense, but the water was like the unifying agent for all of us. And we do have water in our bodies, as you know. So we have a lot of cellular water. We have water in our blood. And so I knew that when you sound the sound of Om, which is audible actually in the ethers, then something happens. We all become one. It was amazing. And not just one with each other, but like suddenly we became one with all that is. It was amazing. And so the water was really important. And later in life, I had this experience when I met the element of water, really met her, and her vibration is Ma. We all come from Ma. That's why babies, when they come into this world, the first words are usually the syllables, Ma, Ma. We are just vibrating. That's all we do as babies. We just go Ma, Ma, because that is within us. The mother is within us. We all are water beings, really. And so then, you know, in this lifetime, it was definitely a journey of uncovering the mystery and remembering. And so I started to remember these angelic queendoms, and I started to remember the importance of meditation because of past lives. And Haridas Kaur, that's incredible. Absolutely. What your mother experienced, you know, we just remember the mother, of course. And so then I, you know, was meditating as a teenager. I just meditated. I just knew there is something that we must remember. And then suddenly I started to remember all this incredible story of the earth, and the earth herself started to reveal herself. And so she revealed herself as the rainbow being, as the rainbow serpent, as the rainbow dragon, also as the goddess, as Sophia, as Shakti, all of it. She brought it all on, you know. And then I was always calling her Divine Mother, because I thought, okay, you know, so Shakti, she's the Divine Mother. Here she is. Hello, Shakti. Here is the Green Tara. Hello, Shakti. And hello, Green Tara. I absolutely understand. You are the Divine Mother. And then one day I was at home, and it was like Sunday afternoon, and I was just sitting in the sun, and suddenly the sun like downloaded all the information you could possibly imagine about planetary ascension. And I was just so blown away. So I quickly sat down and I started writing it all down. And it is today in the video, the Cherokee grandmother's message to humanity, which I recorded with a real Cherokee grandmother. So it is her voice and the message that we received that day. And so I knew suddenly what happened on planet Earth, and I knew what is going to happen on planet Earth. And so this is the first video I made as the Green Tara kind of work. So in that video, it is in detail described how the planetary body once lost her beautiful electromagnetic field, the grid. And I was there. I experienced the moment of it, actually. And it was, I always describe it as suddenly all of humanity fell into an instantaneous amnesia. Instantaneously, we all forgot. And the reason for that is because we are electromagnetic beings. Our nervous system is plugged into the electromagnetic field. We too run electromagnetic energy through our nervous system and our hearts, our brains, and our spine. And so when this fall happened on a planetary scale, there was no way of holding on to any memory of anything. We all forgot. Everyone forgot. It was like a split second, bam, it's all gone. But we all were here. But because when you completely delete the memory of everyone like this, you still go on. And so you shake it off and you keep going. So then we all keep going, and that's today's civilization. We still keep going with amnesia. And so, for example, you know, we now have on Netflix the great show with Graham Hancock, such a great show about ancient civilization. It's called The Ancient Apocalypse, I think. Wonderful, because as species with amnesia, we forgot the ancient times. We forgot the continuation of consciousness. We forgot where we came from. That is not normal. It is not normal to forget. It is not normal to have the veil. It is actually not normal to forget who you were, you know, in the past, where you came from, because actually we used to have access to this amazing Akasha, to really our mother, so that we always have knowledge and that we act out of wisdom and love. And so today's world is a result of that fall of the electromagnetic field of the earth. So when I received this incredible information one day, I also received what will happen in the future. And that was the reversal of all of this. And so I saw it. It was super amazing. Suddenly, one day in this lifetime, and again, I always say soon, because man, why would you tell us all these things and then let us wait 2000 years? So it must be soon. There will be a reset of the electromagnetic field of the earth. Now, the earth started to communicate with us, and she said she is going to restore her rainbow light. Now, this was amazing. Green Tara came to me, and I was still working in an office, you know, so every day I would be driving to the office and sit down in the office and do my work, actually working for a pharmaceutical company. But the Green Tara would come with me, and she would talk to me, and she was like, okay, so this is exactly what needs to happen on planet Earth, and you need to do this and that. So it was pretty wild. So I was playing her mantra in the office all the time. I had the Om Tare, Tu Tare, Ture Soham on all the time, so that I could perceive all the information correctly. And so she said, yes, the Green Tara is really the mother of nature, and maybe everywhere in cosmos, because you can see her also in other cosmic dimensions. But for us here, she said, I, the Green Tara, am the mother of the earth in this instance. and I want my rainbow body back. And she said, you rainbow children, you came here to help me. This ascension will happen through the rainbow children, the children of Mu, really. And so then all these ancient memories just went nonstop coming in. It was like nonstop, but like memories, you know, like not just ideas, but memories. Like, oh my gosh, this is how we ended Atlantis. And this is what happened in, you know, the Middle Ages. And this is what happened in Babylonia. And so it was nonstop. And so I know for sure that this ascension process is all about the electromagnetic field of the earth and you and me. And so as we work with the stars, which we used to do all the time in Mu, in Atlantis, they work with the stars too. Not my experience, because I cannot tell you anything about Atlantis except for how it ended. And this was a fun end. I guess not really. It was the flood. It was the flood. And it was the creator who actually decided to create the flood. It was not some, you know, fluke of nature. It was actually the creator. So whatever we want to call it, Father God. The decision was made that we need to restore and reset energies on planet Earth because unconsciousness was spreading like wildfire. And so I remember when the creator made the decision. And so our society, which was not actually Atlantean, we were not Atlanteans. We actually came from the stars just for the end of Atlantis because we thought we could make a difference, but we actually did not make a difference. Instead, we went down into unconsciousness as well. Now, this story is important. Why? Because so many of us, not you, came into this world and, you know, the folks out there said, okay, we will make a difference. This time we will get it right. But again, they came here and forgot, and they are not remembering. But the key is we need to remember. This is a big deal. It is a big deal. It is really all about the planet herself, restoring her, lifting her, allowing her to make the shift of the ages. And so the end of Atlantis, you know, the creator said, okay, get ready. The Indian Ocean is going to take you down. So I always say, you know, we sat down, we didn't fear, we didn't run, we didn't try to hide in some caves. We just sat there, and it was in Ethiopia, and we just faced, you know, in the direction of the Indian Ocean, far in the distance, because those waves were big. It was like mega tsunami. And we just sat together, not like even holding hands, nothing, just sitting in meditation and waiting for the wave to come. And I remember just this like slight feeling of nervousness because I knew that's the way to leave the body. So the wave hit, bam, you know, off we go, meaning suddenly we are up again with the creator. And I remember running, you know, running to the throne. That's the way I always describe it, and saying, send me back. This time we will make sure the earth will not suffer again. And so yeah, and so I remember all the different times of Mu. And so again, I'm sitting in the backyard. It's a beautiful sunny day, and suddenly there's a guy walking around our backyard, and it's an Aboriginal, and he's like playing didgeridoo, and he's in his, you know, I would say almost naked. And he's like, oh, I'm just here, your guide, you know. And so this is pretty much how the memories come back. And sometimes it's like zoning into another dimension where you suddenly are with them. And so this was the day, actually that day, when I met the guide in the backyard, when I learned so much more about the nature of Mu and the rainbow people. And really, we were like angelic people of love and the earth. And so yesterday I was watching Matthias De Stefano, that many of you are familiar with, and he has a show on Gaia, but also he is in the show Ancient Civilizations. And this is a new episode. It's about a place in Lake Titicaca, so ancient site. So I wanted to show you like a few minutes from this. This really is fascinating. So this is newly published, and you've heard me before speak about the Mu people and how wonderful we were, all of you Mu people. And so we bring the memory of the mother. We bring the memory of nature. You know, I always say the greatest book written about Divine Mother is actually the Tao Te Ching. The Tao Te Ching, where she is the Tao, she is the flow. And so Matthias, again, he mentions the flow of the Mu people. as Mu people, we really didn't do much, to be honest, because we were so in the flow of nature. We didn't need to do much. And so I always say the Mu people were super laid back. You imagine us laying on the beach and just really having a wonderful time being one with nature. And this was good enough. And again, Matthias mentions that and the difference between the Atlanteans and the Mu people. So Divine Mother told me in 2020 that, she sent so many rainbow children of the Mu, this original frequency of nature. This is the original frequency of cosmic Mother Nature, the rainbow light. And so here on the cover of the book, that is Divine Mother. I always say, I was told, and I always repeat it, this is the only photo available on planet Earth, photo, not a drawing, nothing, photo of our cosmic Mother in her dragon energy. And so many of you also are having experiences with dragons looking at you and the dragon energy comes out. I activate my water on top of the book. That's how I use the book, and then drink the rainbow light. And it is for remembrance of who you truly are. And that it's been really a wild ride, right? It's been a wild ride. And so let's take a look at what Matthias has to say about the Mu civilization and the Atlanteans. And then I wanted to show you another clip from also Gaia TV, but I'll start with Matthias. So this is fascinating for those of you who've been to Lake Titicaca. So I've been to Lake Titicaca and I've been to this ancient site. The thing is that that's where you really encounter these days the consciousness of Divine Mother. It's like she is in the lake itself and you can communicate with her. It's a portal. You can go to other dimensions and so on and so on. But this is pretty fascinating. So here it is.
With the energy of the things and the Atlantean civilization.
Sorry.
So they were the builders.
Display very sophisticated engineering and knowledge. But the question remains, who were the builders?
The first civilization coming to Bolivia and Peru, all the territory that I remember with the name Harinmibu, was the territory under the power of Mu. The Mu civilization was basically like the keepers of all this coming from the skies in all the Pacific Ocean. So they were the builders of the bases for them to come, to have the meetings, to have the trespass of information. And Tiwanaku was one of these special spots where all the energy of the planet was flowing through. There was a main difference between the Mu civilization and the Atlantean. The Mu civilization was much more connected with the flow of everything, much more connected with the energy of the things. And the Atlantean civilization was much more mathematical and trying to understand the patterns that creates everything. And that's why there are two types of building there. The basements that are from the Mu time, they didn't make temples in Mu time. They just did the platforms. It was all open. And then the Atlanteans came and built temples on the top of it. The Atlantean civilization used to build these three main gates everywhere in every one of their colonies, because were the gates for certain stars in certain moments of the year that would open the specific information from those stars. So the people in those temples, in certain moments of the year, they would become the stars through those portals. The part of Mu in Tiwanaku would be all kind of missing, just a few blocks on the ground that hold what was once the main base of those who came from the skies. So nothing really to be able to be seen. Everything is much more covered by the Atlantean civilization that built the doors, that built everything. But you can still see some of the Mu civilization in some parts along the entire Pacific.
Do the pre-Diluvian sites around Lake Titicaca connect with some of the oldest ancient civilizations on the planet? And were they constructed by the Mu civilization, only to be rebuilt by the Atlanteans before and after the Great Flood? As with most cultures that rise to the empire level, the elders and leaders are highly protected and informed. Could these powerful empires that have occupied these sacred sites around Titicaca have had access to legendary information passed down from the pre-Diluvian gods? Did they know the legends of Zep Tepi, the Anuna, Sumer, Mu, and Atlantis? Was discovering these megalithic stones and sophisticated foundations of these temples something the early elders believed was their gift from the gods? Were they searching for these sacred places to be used in their efforts to control? Or did they believe they had found their new home, to connect with the ancient knowledge designed and built before the end of the world?
All right, so you see how important it is to know where the stars are and which stars to connect with. And so that's why, for example, I bring this work from Mu, the connection with the stars, because we just intuitively knew all of it. We could see energy. I remember just, being on the beach, having a great time and just looking at how energy flows. And because we could see how energy flows, that's why I say we could never misuse life force, because we knew exactly which way she needs to flow and how beautiful this rainbow is. So this is on Gaia, and it's called Ancient Civilizations. So you saw, then Atlanteans came and they didn't have the same knowledge. And so they started to build all these temples because they needed to remember where the stars are, where the stars rise. And so when they are active, but that's the work we will do here today. And this entire lunar cycle, we are working with this magic of the stars because we are evolving with the stars. The stars are helping us. Every time the stars become active, all stars that we work with the Pleiades, we work with the Big Dipper, we work with Polaris, we work with Sirius, we work with the central suns. So this all is changing us. When your blood changes, when your DNA changes, when the light within your nervous system is upgraded, you also no longer are the old self. Every time we upgrade the nervous system, we have upgraded actually our ability to see into higher dimensions. And so another show on Gaia I wanted to show you before we go into meditation. So I often go to Mount Shasta, and I had many experiences where at night I'm taken inside a mountain. This started to happen to me in 2008. Since 2008, I've been going into Mount Shasta and really meeting with the beings who really are humans like us, but on a different level of consciousness. And so I saw this show on Gaia the other day that I mentioned before of a man who was walking around and suddenly he was taken inside the mountain. And that's exactly what happens. And these beings inside the mountain told him about what is to come on planet Earth. And they mentioned the solar flash that we speak about often. And so I'll just play the little part about the solar flash.
The council they believe that the shift is imminent. Mm-hmm. And they believed it was winter solstice.
Okay.
When she said that, chills just went through my body because, look, I believe that. I've been led to believe that the shift in whatever solar flash that might manifest itself in that way, it's coming. Never mind, I believe that I came back in this incarnation because the shift is going to happen in my lifetime.
Now, did she specifically say solar flash, or?
They mentioned that there was going to be some type of phenomenon. And
okay.
Again, I believe in the cyclical nature of the universe
sure.
and how the cosmos works.
Okay.
And if you're not paying attention right now, we got bombarded with solar energy from the sun now.
In fact, yesterday and the day before yesterday, we had some major, what do you call it?
CMEs.
CMEs.
It's one of the rabbit holes I found my way down into.
Right.
If I understood the nature of the universe and how it's cycling into its new section and where the age of Aquarius really kicks in, according to the linear timelines I understand, our solar system entered this photon belt now for the next 2,000 years in 2012. By 2016, our entire solar system now was in this. And so now for the next 2,000 years, we're bathed with high frequency photon energy that's coming from Alcyon, passing through our sun and feeding its solar system. So these little maladies that we think we're feeling, think that there's energy that if you want to think of it as we're being mutated in some way, because there's changes taking place with us at a molecular DNA level.
Right.
And it's not changes so much as we're getting to the point where the 2 strands that have been here all along that we've been functioning on, and the 10 that we've been taught were all these deadlies.
Stuffs, yeah.
It's not junk DNA. It's waiting to be activated. And now that our awakening is coming around, all of us have been here before. We have memories. We know what was here before, but something had to trigger us out of that.
Sure.
Some of us have found it along the way. In my case, I was awakened 5 years ago. I've been fortunate to learn.
So basically, he was told by the beings in Telos, in Mount Shasta, that the solar flash is coming, and that's going to be the event of the final transformation. So I just thought it was really interesting. He had a great story to tell, and it was very authentic. And so this just shows us, I love this, as really forerunners, we are aligned with all these energies that are coming in, and we are aligning with them more and more and more and more. And so here we are. I just want to show what it is we're going to do today. As you know, we are working with divine will. Now, I truly believe this will be very exciting. So Divine Mother told me we are preparing for the winter solstice. For us, it will be winter solstice, in Australia, summer solstice, right? So I've been seeing great changes within the earth. The earth has gone through so many changes, and one of the changes is that she is aligning her own axis. As you know, she is creating kind of like 4 poles instead of 2 poles. So she's creating really like a cross, you know, the equal armed cross within herself. And so that's something that is visible within the earth and really has been visible for a while now. That's what she's doing. So with that, we are in complete surrender, and the better our DNA is, the better our cells are, the better our body is prepared, the better our nervous system is prepared, the better this energy can run through us. So let us connect to the divine will. I actually will just show once again how we will be hopping on the Big Dipper. So today we are working, and actually every day now, with the Big Dipper. Still, if you can, you know, if you have a practice you really enjoy, start introducing these different light sources within your light body and connect, for example, to the Polaris, and put Polaris above your head at least once a day. And then, you know, okay, Polaris is aligned, and so I have a connection. Then create the triangle of light above you, which would be, again, we are working with the triangle of the Pleiades, Sirius, and the Great Bear. And once again, the Great Bear is a big constellation. And within the Great Bear, we have the Big Dipper, and we're going to be working with the Big Dipper. And so this is very exciting. Imagine you are an alchemist with so much light. And every time you bring in this light from a certain source of consciousness, you are expanding. And of course, you know, it's just the big breakthroughs come. Those are so fun. And so we work for that. We also want to have some fun with this. So we're going to be starting with hopping on the Big Dipper. I recommend taking your shoes off as you travel across the Big Dipper. And we will be starting at the far right top star. We will really stand on that pool of light, absorb it through our feet, and then feel the energy, feel the quality, bring it in. Then we hop down, bottom right. Then we hop across, bottom left. Then we hop up, top left, and then we go all the way to the end of the handle of this ladle. And so we will finish far left. So let us go in and have some fun with this. So this meditation is, I think it's about 24 minutes. So this is the first journey from the 12 journeys on this album.